Hello, my name's Ken. I spent 1 year in Ukraine, 8 months of that year with the International Legion. I'm doing this video without really any prep except thinking about what I want to say beforehand. I don't have like a script written down. I don't even really have a direction I want this to go in. It's just sort of a reintroduction for this channel because I haven't uploaded here in a while. Also, I live in a one-room cabin in the middle of the woods outside of San Antonio, Texas, for security purposes. And both of my lighting fixtures are out. The only ambient light I have in here is a string of Christmas lights I have hung on the rafters. And I'm leaving for Ukraine Monday, so there's really no point in me taking the time and money to fix that. So I apologize for the terrible, shitty lighting in the room. I want to begin by laying out the foundations for this channel and explaining what it is I do and what this channel is for. I know the overwhelming majority of you probably know me from TikTok, and I'm here to tell you that the content here is going to be a little different. For one, videos for the most part are going to be long form. Due to YouTube software and format, I'm not going to really be able to do the same kind of content I was on TikTok. Not without a lot of effort that wouldn't really be worth it. And while I love a good joke and I hope to continue to express my sense of humor and have a laugh with you all, the content here is going to be a little more serious in tone. Hopefully, my audience will be a little more mature. If you're even vaguely familiar with myself and the type of content I produce, then you're well aware that engaging in arguments and engaging with agitators and feeding the troll is part of what I did on TikTok. It was what I referred to as a content generator. It was usually funny and an easy way for me to express myself, kind of using my opponent as a backboard for an idea that I wanted to talk about or do a video on. So I want you to understand early on, let's get this out of the way now so that no one's surprised. If you come to my comment section and you're openly disrespectful to me or someone else or my ideals, then I'm just going to block you and move on. I'm not going to do what I did on TikTok when it benefited my channel and made my content better, where I would just roast people that said stupid things or were frankly being assholes. And by all means, you're allowed to disagree with me on this channel. If I had, for instance, some technical matter that we were discussing pertaining to weapons or vehicles or something, and I said something that was factually incorrect, please correct me. I don't want to be wrong. When it comes to current events, where I feel that most of the contention here is going to come from, namely the Russo Ukrainian war, we're probably going to discuss that one the most. The Israeli Hamas conflict, the tunnel in that synagogue, we can discuss those things. And if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. And I encourage you to comment and begin a discussion. But I am going to require you to be mature and respectful of myself and others while you're interacting with my channel. One of the primary goals of this channel is to offer some perspective. The first part of that perspective that I'd like you all to begin trying to understand is that I fought in the Russo Ukrainian war. I was wounded in the Russo Ukrainian war. My friends died in the Russo Ukrainian war. Some of them died in front of me. I have a significantly larger personal investment in this event than someone that has spent the duration of this conflict since 2022 and possibly since 2014 forming an opinion about it from the comfort of his home, based upon information that came across his Facebook feed or his TikTok. Maybe you have a friend or loved one that served in the Vietnam War. I'm sure when that person came home and people learned they were in Vietnam, they were just inundated with unsolicited opinions on the war, why it's happening, is it right or wrong? I'll tell you what I think we ought to do. It gets tiresome fast. Now, that's not to say that you're not entitled to your opinion or that you're not entitled to the ability to express your opinion. In fact, one of the reasons I do the things I do is to preserve the inalienable right of all men to freedom of expression. However, if you offer an unsolicited opinion about an event that I experienced firsthand, then I think you could reasonably expect me to respond to that negatively. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about some of the fun stuff. Now, I was in an infantry unit. I was an infantryman. At least that's what it says on my military ID. And I went on infantry missions and did infantry stuff. I also held a lot of secondary duties, foremost as a driver. Most of my coworkers couldn't drive a manual. Most of them had never driven a pickup truck, and none of them wanted to learn how to do either of those things in the middle of a war in the winter. And I don't blame them. Lord knows, even our most experienced drivers wrecked vehicles in horrible, awful ways every week. Not me though. I never have wrecked a vehicle in my life, and I intend to keep it that way. I was also one of the only guys that had ever had a job outside of the military. Now, I'm not hating on my coworkers here. A lot of them were younger guys, and a lot of them were career soldiers that never really had to learn a skill outside of soldiering. A 19-year-old kid who finished high school, did his 2 years conscription, and then went to Ukraine immediately after probably isn't going to know how to fix a generator or replace a serpentine belt or maybe even change a tire, which is fine. That's okay. That's what guys like me are here for. And so, boy, that's what I got to fucking do. Here's a typical conversation between myself and one of my dear Ukrainian colleagues. Scooter, hello. I have once again put benzene in diesel generator. What? Yes, please come. I have done it again for the third time this week. Wybaczcie. Oh, fuck, man. Shit. Dawaj, burlaska. I have to charge my phone and charge radio. And I like light. I am afraid of the dark. Sir, how fucking cold is it outside right now? Minus 15. Fahrenheit or Celsius? Fahrenheit, звичайно. Scooter. Hey, hello. All right, sir, let me find my shoes. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Дуже дякую. Maybe this time you are come to CP, you are wearing the pants, please. And of course I wasn't wearing the pants, but I was fixing the shit and I was glad for it. I was glad to have a purpose. I was glad to help and contribute even a little bit. One thing that impressed me about the Ukrainians was when they asked you to do something, they said please. When you did it, they said thank you. And in my case, when I got woken up at odd hours to go fix whatever equipment got fucked up, they usually had breakfast waiting on me. They were extremely nice and hospitable to me, a foreigner, a complete stranger that they outrank. Like these guys are commissioned officers, and my paperwork says soldat, which is the equivalent of a private. And they treated me like I was one of them. How often does that happen in the US military where Private Snuffy gets tasked to do his job and someone says, "Hey, thank you. Hey, you did a good job. Hey, man, I know I got you up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to come out in the snow and fix some shit I fucked up. Are you hungry? Can I feed you?" And I'm going to be doing a video on leadership styles and my take on it in the future at some point when I feel like it. Um, but the point I'm getting at, it's that kind of thing that draws me back there. These people are the shining example of hospitality, of kindness, of grace, and I think they deserve the best. And I'm going to give them everything I have until this shit is over or until I can't give any more. So that's the gist of it. Now I ain't going over there to get killed. No, sir. I'm going back out there to fucking live. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. I hope this video has established a solid foundation for the rest of the channel and what we're going to do here going forward. It is 2:45 in the morning. I'm tired. I have work tomorrow, and I would like to do something else for a little bit besides record this. Before I go, what I'd like you to do is send this video to whatever elected official in your area that you think is the most attractive. Could be a school board member, the county sheriff, the tax assessor, the mayor, the fire chief, whichever elected official local to you that you find the most attractive. I want you to send them this video and I want you to ask them, would you smash Ken? And then comment below with the answer. That's about it. Goodbye. Do побачення. Hope this helps.